friends. Today we have a big project in front of us. We are going to process hopefully the rest of our apples. That if I don't get this in crock pots today, I want to at least try and get them chopped and put in freezer bags in the fridge. I'm going out of town this weekend, and so when I have a big project like this, I always try and think a couple days ahead of what my schedule is going to look like, even if I'm just home babysitting, or if I have other things come up in the home. I always want to be a little bit prepared, one step ahead of the game, because it's just so much easier to know that I can just go to the fridge and take these out and dump them in the crock pot and put the lid on overnight, and then to realize I still have a whole another hour's worth of work to do of peeling and coring in these. So this is one that we have left. Hopefully I can get through this over here filled. Oh, this has been what has gotten me through. I love baklava, and we were at Sam's Club the other day, and my husband noticed that they had it out. So yes, I was super excited, and I've been known to get in this box more than a couple times the last few days. So these are the two crock pots that we have that are also ready to be pureed down. I used to use an immersion blender, but I have started to run my apples through my food processor. It adds, an extra 10 or 15 minutes to, okay, let's be honest, it's probably like a half hour more of processing time, and then you have to clean it and wipe the counter down. But I really feel like lately when I've done that, I like the consistency of the apple butter better. It's a lot more smooth. I keep all my peels on my apples when I cut them. I just core them and cut off all the bad spots, and so I feel like the nutrition, there's a lot of nutrition in the peeling, and so I try and leave that on. It also helps add a little bit of natural pectin to it as well. So I will be running these through my food processor, and I have a lot to run through the food processor today. And then I will put them back in the crock pots. It's another week, and I figured I'd show you kind of what I've been up to already. This was the last of the apples in that crate, and so this was going to become cinnamon applesauce, but we couldn't find the Red Hots, and you were local, so I went ahead and tried a new recipe. We did cinnamon vanilla peach applesauce, so it tasted very yummy. So we've got all that can. I did 32 quarts, and that was all the apples fit into that roaster, so a full roaster, and did about 32 quarts. And so I have been working, I'll take you back here to the laundry room. I have been working on putting away my jars. I have to label those and get the rings off before I put them away. So this project became a lot more complicated than I thought, and I think it's probably going to be a couple-day project, hopefully not longer than that. My goal was to go ahead and put away all the canning stuff that I had on this table and then in the kitchen, and then be able to put labels in the canning cabinet so I would know what I have. Unfortunately, what happens is what typically happens in my home is a domino effect occurs, and so when I opened up my canning cabinet, I realized that there was a whole lot of dehydrated stuff that had been crammed in different nooks and crannies. And so I went ahead and pulled those out, because my goal is to have just dehydrated food in those two cabinets. I might put a few more things on those shelves, but not very much. And then have dehydrated stuff in this cabinet and in this bookshelf, which I just put in here a couple weeks ago. So I found a whole bunch of stuff crammed in there, which I realized I had to take out in order to fit in all of the jars that were on this table that you saw in my last video. And as I started putting those jars in, I kind of felt like I wanted like items together. That's how my brain works, and I feel like even though everything's in the same room, I like to know that certain things are in certain areas. So then it became a process of trying to semi-organize things. I'm not done yet, probably halfway through. But I thought I'd bring you along, kind of show you where I'm stuck. And then hopefully I can bring you back when everything's finished. But my next job after my break is to clear off this bottom shelf. Sorry about the lighting. To clear off this bottom shelf right here, take everything out. I think I'm going to have to move all of my homemade jellies and jams down there and put tags so that I know what is down there. It's a spot that you don't typically see easily, and it's hard for me to get to, but we don't use that much jam and jelly, and if I have a sign down there saying what's below, then I'll know if I want to grab something, that's where it's at, because I'm running out of room very quickly. And I haven't even canned the tomatoes from my garden this year. I have those back there. So this is kind of where I am now. All of this was the apple butter on the table, and then the grape jelly that I did, and the mango butter I stuck right there because I want that to eventually go probably down there with all the other jams and jellies. This shelf right here I cleared off so that I can put the applesauce that's in there on the table there, and then all these are specialty jams and jellies I make that will end up on the very bottom shelf, and then this whole shelf will probably be like apple pie filling and applesauce. So anyway, this is kind of where I am. I still have to organize both of these doors. They're herbs and spices, and then this one is overstock of like pantry goods, which I don't think this is a very good spot for, because I totally forgot I had any of this stuff, and it's probably been here for a while, so I need to go through and check everything and then see if I can move this stuff to the kitchen, and then just be able to use this door as another place to put like maybe some dehydrated herbs and spices if I need to. And then some of the apple butters that I canned, I'm going to try and sell at a local market, so in order to make room, don't mind the kitty litter, that's just life. In order to make room, I decided to get 2 dozen of each kinds of apple butters and stick them in these boxes. I took the rings off, but I stacked them evenly so that the weight would be distributed properly, so there won't be like any false seals or any broken seals. But I stuck those over here. My hope is to take these to market and to sell them locally, because there is not room in the canning cabinet for them, and in a month or so when it starts to get really cold out, if I haven't sold them, I can easily just stack them somewhere else. So that's where I am. All this dehydrated stuff I need to sort through. I think my next step will be to clear off that bottom shelf so I can move all the jams and jellies, and then get the rest of the applesauce that I did yesterday in here. And then the process is going through and sorting all the dehydrated stuff. I think I'm going to have to figure out a system so that I know what I have. I did get this cabinet mostly situated, except that top shelf is full of dehydrated things as well, which needs to come out. But this is just fruit, canned fruit or fruit pie filling. So I'm going to put labels on those. And then that bottom shelf right there is all grape juice from a harvest that we did 3 years ago at a friend's house. So that has not been used up and can become grape jelly or drunk as grape juice. So I got to check all the seals, all the dates on everything. So anyway, hopefully when I bring you back again, it will be finished. This is the part of YouTube that I wish I could just snap my fingers and it'll all be done. Because this is a lot of work and it's become a really big job, and I don't know how long it's really going to take for me to finish, but lucky for you guys, you'll see the end result here really soon. So it is day 2 on the project of trying to organize all the canning cabinets back here and the dehydrating cabinets also. So I'll show you where I'm at. I got super motivated this morning and was up at like 6:30, and I thought I'm just going to see how much I can get done. This area here, this is just real life. This is food that is going to end up going to the chickens. When you dehydrate, you learn to love dehydrating all the things, and then you quickly realize that your family doesn't love to eat all the things. And so we've been blessed by friends with some bulk foods, and so there have been a lot of times where I've dehydrated like a bunch of cases of spinach or collard greens or kale, bananas and bananas and apples, and so a lot of this stuff is just excess of that. I did keep some of the most recent collard greens and kale that I dehydrated, and then there's a lot of oranges in here too. Now the plan is to not dump all of this to the chickens right away. I figure it might be a fun activity to kind of string up some of the apples and some of the oranges and make like little fall swags throughout the house, or even hang them outside in the trees. I also thought I could hang some of those in the chicken run, just around their houses and around their nesting boxes, something fun for them to peck at. And so this is what I have to dump or kind of go through at some point. This may be the last thing I touch. But the laundry table, which is what we call it because it's in our laundry room, even though it's also where our canning stuff is still full. So, but it's been emptied and refilled like twice today with different categories of stuff. So I'm making progress. A lot of this stuff up here I have to go through and decide whether to keep it or not. And these are all empty jars that I need to get an empty bin out. We have a garden shed outside where I keep my bins of empty jars. I don't have storage inside the house, and I don't like just storing them in the boxes because of being in the country and having critters and spiders. And when I'm canning, I don't want to pull in a whole crate of jars or a whole bin of jars and have to, go through the process of really washing them, if you know what I mean. So I just invest into some bins, and I have a garden shed I cleared out, and I just have stacks of bins, and I do wash my jars before I put them in bins, and then that way I know that these are clean jars, the lid's on the bins, they can come in. If I need to rinse them out or do a little quick wash, I can. But it just saves steps in the long run for me, especially when I have a lot that I'm preserving. So these jars need to go out to the garden shed, and then I said this section needs to be gone through. I got all of the dehydrated stuff sorted, but I will take you on kind of a more detailed tour once all of it is done. That's kind of a little reward I'm giving myself. Put labels on things and then walk you through everything. And then the canning cabinet is pretty much done too. This was all remnants of that last shelf on the very bottom. I put some things away and I need to still sort through that pile. But anyway, I thought I would update you. I've just been trying to keep myself motivated, and since it's pretty cold outside here in central Indiana and rainy, I figure what better way to just prep my canning cabinet, make my inventory list for winter, and know what I have, because I still have a lot of herbs outside to harvest. I don't have a lot of vegetables, but there's still a lot outside that can be brought in. Seeds can be saved, so I have a little bit more preserving left to do on my list. Anyway, well, I do want to show you. I got excited when I was working using the vacuum, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to decorate my table for fall. So I actually have like 2 bins of fall decorations outside that I haven't even brought in yet. But I picked up a few pumpkins. I went ahead and picked a bunch of goldenrod that we have growing in our flower beds, and I made these 2 cute little pumpkins out of some old canning lids. So I thought, it really feels like fall today, y'all, and I just wanted to make my table pretty. And for me, sometimes this is what keeps that motivation going, is when I can reward myself, quote unquote, with doing fun little projects like this in between my jobs. So, well, I will let you go and hopefully get this job done.